So आज हमारे साथ जो हैं वो मोहन जी हैं. मोहन जी, is it okay if we record the program and it will go live on our Facebook?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thank you. So Mohan ji has more than 30 years of experience in finance, and he has sent me his resume. There are so many things, and I said I won't be able to do justice, so please introduce yourself. आप क्या करते हैं, कब से करते हैं? जी मोहन जी. Be able to do justice, so please introduce. जी मोहन जी.
Sorry. Okay. First of all, good evening, namaste ji, sat shri akal, or adab, salam alaikum for everybody. Good evening. Aajkal I can speak in Hindi, English, Urdu, a little bit Punjabi, but English should be fine for now. हाँ जी, thank you जी.
हिंदी में बोल दो.
हाँ जी, thank you. हिंदी में बोले?
हिंदी में बोल दो.
हाँ जी, श्योर. मेरी जो प्रेजेंटेशन है वो इंग्लिश में है, बट फिर भी आई विल इंटरजेक्ट बिटवीन हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश, दैट्स नो प्रॉब्लम. तो मैं काफ़ी साल से हूँ यहाँ पे, 30 इयर्स से मैं यहाँ पे मिसिसागा में प्रैक्टिस कर रहा हूँ एज अ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट. मैं यहाँ पे 1990 में आया, और ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम 30 इयर्स ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस में मैंने बहुत सारे क्लाइंट देखे. उनकी तकलीफ जो होती है, that I faced it, like, you know, interacted with them, और फिर based on that, मेरी मतलब एक प्रिंसिपल है कि life is always learning, मतलब learning never stops. हम सब पढ़ाई कर रहे हैं हर एक दिन की, because every day is a new one. And well, last year, just before 16th of March, nobody even knew the spelling of COVID. Now we are surviving and trying to live in COVID. So ये सारा नया experience है सबके लिए. We have steered our way out of that, hopefully, and hopefully all of you stay well and safe. यही प्रार्थना है. तो आज का जो मेरा presentation है, so Uzma ji, मुझे guide करें if you are able to see the screen now. Are you able to see the screen now?
No.
Okay.
Yes, now we can see.
Thank you, sure. तो मैं ये तकरीबन 15 slides है. This is a very basic presentation just to give you an idea in terms of educational content about what things are involved in this. मैं बहुत slow जाऊंगा, like, you know, and then at the end of each slide there is a slide number like 1, 2, 3, 4. तो अगर आपको कोई question है, so I'll be very happy to answer all and any and all questions. Just write down the page number जिसके ऊपर आप question है. So let me read through the whole presentation first. मैं आपको जो भी cases or court cases or my practice experience I have gone through in a couple of years and also in recent past, especially because of COVID, I'll guide you on that as well in terms of what things are possible and where things could go wrong. ये जो presentation है, this is it titled as estate planning a woman's perspective. जैसे आपको पता है कि estate is for anybody and everybody. Even children can have estate. There's nothing wrong with children having an estate. So basically, what happens is like, you know, let's understand the core concept of estate as such. And then why is it different for women? That's what I will be focusing on today. So I'll start with my presentation. So जैसे title यहाँ पे है, estate planning a woman's perspective. Why is it different for women? What if you don't do it? What do you need to know? Essential paperwork for estate planning. Where would you go for help if required? And where things can go wrong. So ये particular subject जो है, it's a very deep and obviously subjects like this cannot be covered in half an hour or 45 minutes or 1 hour presentation. But this is basically awareness. And what I'm going to touch through is basically the top layer of this presentation. Uzmaji, if you have any, if you can't see the screen properly, let me know, and
Sure.
I will guide through on that.
Right now,
So
it's very
assumption
clear.
hoti hai.
Right.
Sorry.
Right now, it's very clear. We can see the
Sure.
screen.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So when the slides are on, my video will not be there, but let me read through it.
Sure.
Why is it different from women? Okay, especially a thought of estate planning itself is painful. Whether it is women or men, we all think that the life is eternal. And my life partner will always be there to take care of me. But as far as the Stats Canada or even the global stats is concerned, and especially we live in North America, so the North American stats is such that men tend to live up until 80 years. Today, we have seen people living even up to 90, 95, 100 years. Thank you so much for the medical advancement. But women tend to live longer than men. So obviously, women jo hai, they will have to take care of the residual estate after their spouse is gone. एक दूसरी assumption होती है कि my family will take care of me. Of course, the family is extremely important. It's a very core content of our fabric of life. But this is a very legal country. It's not like back home, ke neighbor will take care of me or some cousin will take care of me. Honestly, जो मेरा अपना जहां भी मेरा घर है मिसिसागा में, मेरा neighbor, I just know him by face and probably first name. I don't know much about him. I trust everybody. If you're not prepared, you'll be vulnerable to fraud. Every single day, we get calls from CRA, anybody and everybody, that they're calling me from legal department. Now, all they want to deport me. All they want is my money. So when I give them my credit card, they are happy. So when you don't know things and when you sort of start trusting others, I'm not saying that trust is wrong. A good amount of trust is in a good amount of people. But it's important that you have to be in control. That is what is more important. दूसरी एक assumption होती है कि I don't have much. Many women inherit twice. One from their parents or from, now if the parents are not there anymore, from their siblings, which is, estate of their parents, and also from spouse. Many women these days are very successful. They are in business, they are in profession, so they earn on their own. And because of that, their financial structure is extremely good. Why is it important? Because women are a major force in the changing world. Conserving and using wealth to secure maximum benefits during your life and give instructions after your life. Instructions are important. Why they are important? Because they carry your legacy. अगर हम ये चीज नहीं करें, so failure to plan has negative consequences for the loved ones. It is important to ensure the effective distribution of wealth, manage taxes, pay off estate liabilities, honor wishes of the loved ones, and establish a legacy, helping community and charitable donation. One thing I would like to point out here, if the estate gives money, or if the individual who passes away gives money to the charitable organization, or even to an NPO or charitable organization, he will substantially save income taxes, especially because of the charitable donation received. So जो भी आपके आस्था है, like, each of us have different religious beliefs. So basically based on that, it's important to establish a legacy for that. Many people give money to the hospital. Today, if you walk around, like, Princess Margaret Hospital, which is in downtown Toronto, or hospital for sick kids. So there are so many charitable institutions and so many charitable donations have helped to find its way in terms of science research and cure, as well as for establishing a legacy. What you need to know is what is a financial asset. Usually हमारी एक concept होती है कि, and which is correct, which is right, whatever is associated with money or dollars is a financial asset, which is generally true. But there could be other areas where the financial, you may think it's a paper, but it could also be a financial asset, ownership on something. Then it's important to know what you have. So you have to list. Documents. Document में ऐसे भी है कि then you have to know the physical location of that asset. Maybe you have a house in Singapore. Maybe you have a house in Dubai. Maybe you have a house in India. Or maybe you have a retirement home in United States. It could be anywhere. But that itself, the house and maybe a retirement home, or maybe a what they call a snowbird's home, like, you go there in winter, you come back here in summer. So that is an asset. And it's important to have the documents related to that asset known to somebody, so that a disposition of that asset can take place, as well as the disposition of that asset can take place. And so along with that, what is important is the inventory of asset. आपको हर चीज की एक listing होनी चाहिए, in the sense, it should be quickly accessible and actionable list. And it's okay to have discussion with somebody else. दूसरी बात यह है कि a lot of people are actually surprised, and I've gone through my practice in many years, is that they think that they own the asset, where actually somebody else owns that asset. क्योंकि the legality of such, जैसे कि मैंने पहले कहा कि this is a very legal country. Okay, it's not something that, we write it on a piece of paper, but that piece of paper has to have recognition and the backing of the law. That's what is important. What essential paperwork do you need? Now, this is very generic. I'm laying out very generic facts. Will is a legal document which directs how your financial and physical assets should be distributed after you're gone, or after somebody else is gone. A power of attorney for healthcare. आपको पता है कि technically, unfortunately, if a situation is involved, the nurses and doctors in Ontario or even in Canada will not touch you unless they have proper paperwork in the place. In the sense, if there is a very critical situation, they need to know, because they are the primary healthcare givers to that person. A general power of attorney is such that, for example, if I'm traveling abroad, or if I'm out of Toronto, then somebody else will be able to take care of that particular asset. जो कि bank account है. Most of the bank accounts are like joint accounts, which makes it a lot more easier. But there could be other assets that would need a general power of attorney. And I'll go through some of the critical legal cases that have gone through CRA. We go through CRA cases every single day, and for different clients. तो हमें जो भी मुझे experience है, that I will, without naming any particular individual, I'll share that with you. So basically, it can be a guide for everybody. Where to go and where to seek help? Have a list of your trusted advisors. जो भी आपका accountant है, जो भी आपका lawyer है, उससे बात करें आप. Secure your documentation. In the sense, you may be on a hard drive, maybe on a pen drive, but make sure they are known to a different person other than you, where the papers are. A well-formatted list of documents will save a lot of problems. जैसे पर्सनल डिटेल्स है, बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट है, सिन नंबर्स है, टैक्स रिकॉर्ड्स, सेफ्टी बॉक्सेस. I'll give you a quick example. I have a couple of clients in the retirement home, and one of the client, he is about 95. He's not in very good health. His health is up and down all the time. But at that 95 age, I mean, touch wood, he's okay comparative to his age. This is a real story I'm going to share with you. What happened last year, कि उसकी जो spouse थी, wife, she passed away. They don't have any children. They don't have any family here because they are from UK. And they lived in Canada for many, 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 many years. Ever since when they were young, they started working. They have substantial assets. Where does the problem lie? When this lady passed away, she was almost on dementia. So which means a 24-hour nurse was required for her. When I met this individual, the 95-year-old gentleman, in his frail memory, he mentioned to me कि जब उसकी वाइफ यंग थी, उन्होंने काफी सारे जगह पे बैंक अकाउंट्स खोले हैं and safety deposit box khole. And he has no knowledge of where it is. Now, even if we have will, power of attorney, everything we have. But the point is, are we going to go and check with every branch in Canada? Forget every bank, there are only 5 or 6 banks. But are we going to check with every single bank or every single branch in Canada? It's impossible to do it. So even if we write letters to the head office, it's going to take months and sometimes years to find out where this lady has open documents, open safety boxes, and open individual accounts. And remember, those accounts were in her individual name. There could be money lying there, which this gentleman is legally entitled to receive. He is not short of cash, but it's like a Pandora's box that it's a nightmare for me as an accountant and for the lawyers that we are working as a team to find out where it is. And later on, I will come to you in terms of the CRA problems that is even surmounting what has happened. So this is a real case where the things could go wrong. Sometimes people think, well, I don't have time to think about it because I don't know anything. Or there is an overconfidence that I know everything. I don't need a will because I don't have money. 51% of Canadians do not have a will. And 35% of Canadians have not updated their last will. Then there is a concept that I'm all alone. I don't have a spouse, but I'm all alone, which is not true. You need to determine who gets what after you're gone. You may not have children, you may not have nephews, you may not have any relatives. That's okay, that's fact of life. But maybe you want to pass on your wishes or legacy, maybe to a scientific research, or talking in today's terms, maybe COVID research. I know the vaccine is on the horizon and people are getting vaccines, but who knows, there could be another COVID couple of years down the road. So if the research does not take place now, it's probably going to be a longer recovery. So that's why it's important. One thing to remember here is that if you do not assign anything, the government will be happy to take your money. And if you go in, this is a public space, public documentation. If you go and visit, CRA or Government of Canada or any government for that matter, even in Government of India, they publish a list every year, or most of the other countries as well, unclaimed money by the individuals, or people who have passed away, and those cannot be traced. Millions and millions of dollars, rupees, or whatever currency, local currencies, is still lying unclaimed. You want to make sure that you have earned well, your life has been good to you, and you want to leave a legacy behind you're gone. That's why it is important to have those documents. It's all planning. There's no magic to it. It's all planning. The other thing, other assumption where things may go wrong is after, for example, when you want to have a disability insurance, at a certain age, you are a big liability for the insurance company. They will not even insure you. 50% of population may become disabled on or after the age 65, which is a huge, almost 50%. Now, if you have a power of attorney, not having a continuing power of health, the power of attorney for healthcare decisions. So remember what I said before. It's not about the money. It's about your health. The other day, I just noted in the news item, one of the biggest golf player, which is Tiger Woods, he met with an accident. And I hope he's okay. And I hope we would like to see him back in the golf club again. But he's injured. His both legs are injured. I sincerely hope that but if he was unconscious at that point of time, when the police and the paramedics came, they're going to fundamentally ask one question: do we have the authority to operate on him or not? And if these documents are there, then obviously the next of kin, jisko yahan pe next of kin means your family, your brother, sister, jahan pe ye jo common terminology hai next of kin, which is your near family, they will be able to take that decision. So remember, it's not about money. It's about your health as well. What if you can't make your own decision? Somebody needs to make that decision for you to save yourself. Where else the things could go wrong? Now, if you are not able to take a decision, then through power of attorney, as I said before, somebody else could take that decision. It could be your spouse, it could be your... now, one more thing you have to remember very, very critically. In the life, that's why it is called life. Life is full of challenges. People meet, people separate, and we meet new people. The new people separate and they start living together. That's fact of life. This is why it is called life. Ye to zindagi hai. So if there is an asset, if there is a house or an asset, and which is not transferred to you as a part of divorce or as a part of settlement, it's possible that the previous spouse or wife could have that asset. And the question is, does anybody else want to talk to anybody else for an asset which they thought that it was theirs? It may not be theirs. In one of the slides I said, this particular, and make sure that asset actually belongs to you. Go and review all that paperwork with your lawyer. So to avoid similar kind of situation, I hope nobody has that kind of situation. But as I said, this is life. Ye zindagi hai. This is how life was meant to be. Make sure that the title transfer is a part of a separation document. Whoever owns the deed owns the property. And why is it important? Because you may need that money to survive. That's why it is important. Or ek baat, which is in the current realm, what I'm talking about, what has happened in the last 1 year or so because of COVID all over the world, everybody knows the truth. Government has been spending a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars. Thank God, some people are staying at home and they are getting some checks so that they can survive. They can pay their bills, they can pay their mortgage, they can put food on the table. But ye bahut bada sawal hai. Who is going to pay for all this benefit that everybody else is going to get? Government does not have money. So when the government does not have money, a couple of things are going to happen. Number one, our tax rates are going to go up. May not be this year, but definitely next year. or probably even the following year. And if not for us, the tax rates are already going to go up for your children. दूसरी बात यह है कि when you sell a house, as far as your primary residence is concerned, it is exempt from capital gain. Not so much in United States. United States, the primary residence is also taxable when you sell it. But suppose if you have a secondary property, investment property, or दूसरा घर जिसको कहते हैं, when you sell that दूसरा घर, that's going to be capital gain. Also, your investment, maybe in mutual fund, ETFs, जहाँ भी आपकी investment है, I mean, GIC में is not much of a capital gain, but wherever your investment is, that investment will be redeemed at some point of time. So it's important when we talk about assets, it's important to know which are your liquid assets. Liquid in the sense, bank में जो आप cash होती है, जिसको liquid कहते हैं. Some of the assets, you think those are assets, but they could be illiquid. In the sense, you may not be able to sell assets at the time when you want. Last year, I had a client who's actually a Switzerland national. And her dad passed away, and her three sisters occupied the house and the large property which the Europeans, which these three sisters had. My client, who got 1/3 of the share, had to wait a considerable period of time to liquidate that land and the house. Why? Because the house was not selling. हमें एक concept है कि house तो कभी भी बिक जाएगा. It's not always like that. Abhi, if you ask me who would not like to buy a house in Switzerland, everybody would like to buy a house in Switzerland, yes. But locally, that particular house was not sellable. So obviously they had to sell it at a considerable loss. It was a gain compared to what the property was acquired by the father, or it was reacquired by the three daughters, and then when it was sold, but when it was actually sold, it was not sold for the price that they wanted to sell it. So make sure that real estate is, first of all, you have the title. After changes in the family life or whatever that might be, and make sure that they are actually liquid assets. क्योंकि इसमें बहुत सारा वक्त निकलता है. Again, continuing on where the things may go wrong, there's a confusion about probate and non-probate assets. Hopefully, most of us won't have to go through probate. Now, probate is a very, very deep subject, but quickly I can tell you, when does the probate? Probate is in the sense that the government is involved, Ontario government in particular, that you have to send them the list of documents. You have to send them the will, the list of estate, and a bunch of other documents. It's a legal process. Then the court determines that they basically, what they do, they validate the will. And if there is no executor appointed, the court appoints an executor. If the court appoints an executor, it is the biggest nightmare your family will face. Because whenever a bureaucracy is involved, it's not their priority. First of all, government is not your family. Your family needs to decide what to do and when to do and why to do it. Government will take its own time. I will quickly go through another case that I went through just this year after COVID. And why it is important? Because it's a very, very live case right now. So non-probate assets are such as your joint bank account, annuity, pension, life insurance policy. Agar ghar hai, so house is usually joint in the sense between A and B or B and A. So those are quickly transferred. So you don't have to, those are non-probate assets. But there could be, the same assets could be involved in probate, because then it is the responsibility of the executor. That's exactly where we come in, because we are the advisors to the executor. I'm a part of the CEA, which is Certified Executor Association, and we guide executor, which could be an internal member of your family. It could be your brother, sister, uncle, nephew, whoever that might be. So instead of going through the government, sometimes it is absolutely mandatory to go through the government. That's a very complex case, and it depends on the amount of estate that is also involved. And of course, why is government involved? Well, government is involved in two ways. Number one, they want money. Government wants money, and this is not CRA. This is different. This is just a fee to get the probate. Means like, the will has to be probated, and that is the process for which there is a fee, and the fee is based on the percentage of your estate. So then what the government does is that basically they organize all the documents. They take the documents from you, they organize those documents and appoint, and if there is an executor is appointed by the giver, which is fine. If not, then the government will appoint it. So it's a very complex thing, and I hope that nobody has to ever go through probate. Don't assume, as I said before, don't assume that you will skip probate. Check with your estate planning accountant or attorney to determine how to protect your asset. It is possible. It's possible, and definitely it's 100% recommended to do a lot of things before you actually come and face that event. Forgetting to update your estate plan. Review every 3 years. Focus on 5 things. 5 Ds rather: death, disability, divorce, distance. Now, what I mean by distance is, as I said before, life is a change. Life itself is a change. It's a change between yesterday. I'm 1 year older than what I was yesterday. I was younger 1 year. So distance is the fact that, I may leave Toronto and I may go and stay in Vancouver or someplace else. I may totally leave Canada. And of course, your descendants, which means your legacy, your children. And why it is important that we see this every day. Like, it's not something, it happens only in movies and theaters and things like that. But family problems happen every single day. One person thinks, no, I should get more shares, and the other person thinks I should get more shares. Or even if it is will and documented, these happens every day. How can you prevent it, and why you need to prevent it? Conclusion, don't delay it. Just do it. Just do it like yesterday. So now I will go through couple of things that I went through recently. One of my other client, his brother passed away. This happened last year. He passed away not because of COVID. He passed away before COVID. And large estate. He was a very, very shrewd investor. One of his investments was significant investment in gold and silver, which was with the Royal Canadian Mint. And considering the estate, the largeness of the estate, his brother was very dutiful. He's very following all his instructions. He applied for the probate just before the COVID-19. So when the application went to the Attorney General, those are the people who do the probate. It happened probably about a couple of weeks before the COVID-19 happened. So his application was pending, yet to be heard and yet to be processed, etc. But in the meanwhile, the courts shut down. And we had to wait for almost 6 months to get the documentation from basically the probate document from the court to do the future things. In the meanwhile, what had happened, the investment income, the investment which he had in gold, as you remember, the gold goes up and down every single day. And that started fluctuating considerably. Now, in the meanwhile, the people to whom the estate was supposed to have been distributed, they started getting worried in terms of, how long is it going to take and where are you going to do it and this and that. So anyway, we have now been able to resolve everything. Not everybody is living in Canada for this recipient of the estate. One person is living in France. There's a different conversion of English to French translation. That's another challenge. But apart from that, France has a different tax system. So whoever receives what, it's taxed. And the girl to whom this money is going to go, she's disabled. So it, like, one complications after another complications after another. So it's not a clear-cut thing. Another two examples I'll give you, and they are actually one gentleman. He migrated from UK. He is from our community. He migrated from UK to Canada many years ago. He worked very hard. He has got a lot of businesses set up in Canada. His wife passed away 29th of November last year. Significant amount of estate. No will, no power of attorney. Now, I work with a good amount of financial advisors, and I work with a couple of private wealth management companies, and this client came from them to me. So first, I've never met him yet. Physically, I've never met him. It's always been a phone conversation, but that's good enough. Because of COVID, we can't meet anybody. So when I realized there is no documentation whatsoever, so I approached CRA, and now, because many years of tax return is pending. And why is it important? Because when somebody passes away, when this lady passed away, there are 3 tax returns which are immediately due. Number 1 is she passed away 29th of November last year. So within 180 days, I have to file, which is not here yet 180 days, which is less than that. I have to file her the final tax return. That is number 1. Number 2 is the rights and things return. In the sense, after she passed away on the 29th of November, 30th November onwards, whatever amount was due to her has to be processed in a different tax return, which is called rights and things, because that was an entitlement to do that. And that's why that needs to be filed. The third return is the estate return. And remember, all of these returns are due in 180 days. Third return is the estate return. As we do not have any paperwork for this lady, I know, of course, her SIN number, date of birth, first name, last name, because the husband gave it to me. I called CRA. I said, listen, you need to help us in terms of how to get things around. So there is a particular form that we need to fill up with certain accompaniments and details attached to it. So basically, I have sent that form to CRA. In the absence of anything, and all this paperwork, even the husband does not have any documentation, none of us have any documentation, the CRA is likely to appoint either the husband or me as a representative to follow through the paperwork for her estate. It is very possible that she has not filed her basic own individual tax return for many years. It's very, very possible. But I don't know where to start. So for that purpose, and actually I had got 2 in 1 week. Unfortunately, I got 2 cases completely independent of the same identification. Now, what happens after we get all that information? So it will just put these things together, that what needs to be done. Then we will go through in terms of, individually what things need to be done. Now, since I do not have any paperwork, husband doesn't have any. He's totally distraught. He doesn't even know where to start. He's totally dependent on us. So we have approached CRA, requested for how many years return is pending, and give me all the income slips for that the tax needs to be reported. Then we'll get to her rights and things, and then we'll get to her estate taxes. The valuation of gold and silver. I'm Asian, so traditionally we all have gold and silver at our home, which is a normal thing to have. But as far as the CRA is concerned, all and every single asset, remember gold and silver is an asset, is supposed to have been liquidated at the fair market value of that person's exit. So how much allowance does CRA give me? I may have a Rolex watch, which I don't, in my hand, or I may have a gold pen, which I don't. They give you allowance only for $5,000. So if somebody has a beautiful necklace or a diamond earrings or whatever that might be, okay, it has to be valued technically. This is the theory I'm telling you. The practice could be a little bit different, but let's not get there at this forum. So you need to document every single asset this individual has at the fair market value, which is whatever that date may be. So many times what we do, we engage a local goldsmith. I mean, the gold values we can determine from the internet. So what is the gold value today? But we don't know. I mean, remember, in a jewelry, it's not only the gold value, it's also the making charges. Because if it is an ancient jewelry, it cannot be just made right away. There's a lot of goodwill, and that value may have appreciated considerably. So all those things are involved in terms of presenting the information to CRA. One more thing that we have to remember, when I came to Canada, like everybody else, who gave me the SIN number, the social insurance number? It's the government who gave me the CN number. Can I open a bank account without SIN number? No. They need my date of birth. They need my driving license. They need all personal details of where do I live, blah, 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 so that they can open a bank account. All this information is all known to CRA. Any level of government, they know everything. So the important thing is to be extremely truthful, because you don't want a nightmare and people who are left over after that, because they have to deal with two things. Number one is the sorrow of something major happening in life, and B is to settlement of that particular thing. So it's very important. But as I said before, this is a very, very, very legal country. And if you don't have the documents or whatever documents are required, so basically at this point of time, if there is a takeaway that you want to take out of this seminar, is go and talk to your lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, don't get me wrong. I'm a chartered accountant and I'm a certified executive advisor. And as far as the will, power of attorney and the continuing power of attorney, spend little money. It's not expensive. Instead of doing it on internet, I know it is available on internet. Yes, it is doable on internet. Yes. Does it have to be registered with the government at the point of doing drafting a will? No. It might be a good idea to register it with a lawyer so he knows, or at least one or two people other than you or other than your spouse, they know the paperwork. But most importantly, there is a good takeaway that you want to take away from this particular seminar, is that the list of what assets you have, and make sure that is your asset. You'll be, many times you'll be surprised that asset actually does not belong to you. So basically this is the, one more thing I need to, and why it is important to stay current with CRA, estate settlement. Remember, there is no tax on inheritance. There is no tax on gift tax. So you can gift anything to your son. You don't have to pay a tax. Your son doesn't have to pay a tax. But when somebody passes away, his estate is taxed. Government knows what to tax and when to tax. So that estate is taxed. And if there are distributors, in the sense that there's a family A and B, A passes away, B gets all the estate, and B passes away, and she has got 3 daughters and 3 sons and their spouses and crisscross, whatever that might be. Those are the ones are going to get the funds. Now, in such circumstances, we always get a clearance certificate from CRA. What that clearance certificate does is basically, it's a 1-page document. It tells you that this particular estate does not owe any money to CRA. Because 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road, or even 5 years, or even maybe 6 months down the road, the CRA can establish that this particular estate owes money to the government. And if you have distributed the assets in the meanwhile, there is no way that you can pay back money to the government. And then in that case, it will be the estate executor's responsibility to pay back the money to the government. So it's very complex. Don't take it lightly. CRA is the almighty God. We deal with, and trust me, they are good people on both sides. I worked for them for a while, many years ago, but basically they're really, they want to hear what they want to hear. And if all your documentation is clean, the things fall into place very, very quickly. So basically, this is the presentation. And if you have any questions, let me know. You can tell me which slide to go back. I can't hear you. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I'm okay.
Okay, every year CRA, they sends the letter, so you pay twice in a year. So what happened?
Okay, that is called your advance tax. Okay, now if you, for example, last year, 2019, if you owed more than 5,000 to CRA, in that case, it's a computer generated notice to the recipient to pay the advance tax for 2020. It may same thing may happen next year. Now, for any year, if you don't owe CRA at the end of the year on 30th of April, any money, then automatically those letters will stop. This is outside the estate tax, but that is something, the advance tax notice. And if your income is high at the end of 31st of December, then they will, if they have sent a letter, and if you're not paid the advance tax, then they will levy a penalty and interest from January 1 up until 30th of April.
April में मांग लेंगे with that extra tax, उसके ऊपर extra लग जाएगा.
हाँ जी, नहीं, उसके बाद में आपको शायद पेनल्टी और इंटरेस्ट भी देनी पड़ेगी.
Yes.
क्योंकि देखो, बात तो सीधी है. If I'm employed, I get a T4. And if I'm employed, the employee
T4 and T5 आनी शुरू हो जाती है ना नए साल.
जी, तो उसमें ऐसे है कि if a good amount of tax is not deducted at source, then they will ask you for the payment of that taxes.
Yeah.
मोहन जी, बहुत जबरदस्त आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन है. फेसबुक पे जो लोग देख रहे हैं वो भी कमेंट कर रहे हैं. और रितु का क्वेश्चन है. जी रितु.
I had a question on the no tax of inheritance.
Yeah.
So that means how do you what is the way that goes? I mean, is it that it is from the parents or the grandparents?
No.
Like in India, it is an inheritance comes when it is from the grandparents.
Inheritance can come from anybody. It could be
Okay.
from your direct parents as well. So let me quickly explain you the situation in Canada. So suppose A passes away. So automatically all his estate or whatever is RRSP, TFSA, vagara, vagara. Oh, one more thing, TFSA sometimes could be taxed. Huh? So it depends on how the TFSA account is set up. RRSP is usually a beneficiary, so automatically be rolled over to the spouse. So chalo, theek hai. So RRSP, all this estate is rolled over to B. Okay? If the B passes away, her estate is taxed. Now, after, let's assume that her estate is, let's say, 200,000. I'm throwing a number. Her estate B passes away. So now then there is no spouse involved here. B passes away, her estate is 200,000. And then she distributes that. First of all, that estate will be taxed. So I'm throwing a number again here. So let's say the tax is say 100,000, say 50%. So abhi 100,000 bacha hua hai. So that 100,000 can come to the children, which is at no tax because you have already paid a tax on that.
आप कह रहे थे कि जो विल है, अगर विल बनी हुई है, do we have to फिर से उसको रिन्यू करवाना चाहिए?
देखिए दो बातें हैं इसके अंदर. First of all, you have to determine if there is any life event change. मतलब जो जिसको major event कहते हैं, if there is a change in the lifestyle or major event change in your life or in your spouse's life, then in that case, automatically that will has to be changed. Agar if there is no life event change, very simple. Go to your lawyer and both of you go to your lawyer, discuss with him. कि भैया ये हमारी will है, would you recommend me any change or is a change is necessary? Most likely he will say, and I've got so many clients, I referred them to the lawyers that I normally deal with, and वो lawyer से phone आता है कि मोहन जी everything is fine, nothing to be changed at this point of time. So जैसे कि मान लो कि we all go through medical review every single year. Sometime our doctor tells us that, a particular test is fine. Let's do it after 3 years again. So the same thing applies here. So my point is only simple, that you stay on the top of it. So go to your lawyer or your advisor and talk to him. Most likely they won't even charge you. And just if there is an update required, they'll update it. Or dekho, will mein, you don't have to mention the physical assets. So maybe you have a bank account in Scotia Bank today, and you close the account in Scotia Bank and open the same account in TD. So you don't have to mention the Scotia Bank or a TD Bank. It's the lawyer has a standard draft that they follow. And based on that, so anything and everything that you have at this point of time is determined to be passed on.
Thank you.
Ji.
Any other question? मेरा एक क्वेश्चन है मोहन जी.
जी.
आपने जो प्रोबेट एसेट्स की बात की, उसको उर्दू में क्या कहते हैं या हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? मुझे किसी ने पूछा है.
It's a good question. Probate is actually a British word. Now, since we all follow British tax system, मेरे ख्याल से इंडिया में भी जहाँ तक का कोर्ट का सवाल है, pretty much most of the documentation goes in the English language and a little bit in local language. But आप इस तरह से समझिए उसको कि it's an authorization by the government that the wills and wishes of this individual who is passed away are correct. That is his signature. वो determine करते हैं इसकी जो will and जो whatever is his wishes, the court is obligated to honor the wishes of the person who is passed away. Court will not override that. अगर वो कहता है कि मेरे पूरे पैसे charity को दो, that's fine with the court. The court establishes the fact that there should not be a future litigation.
जी.
Yeah.
They just wanted to have a clarification in Hindi Punjabi. So, yeah.
But probate, like, you know, this a government verification, it's attorney general से आती है. वो हमें submit करने पड़ते हैं वहाँ पे documents, which is usually done through a lawyer. It's quite a cumbersome process. और उसके साथ काफी सारी attachments होती है to determine what is the state of that particular individual. और उसके बाद में court सिर्फ उस पे थप्पा लगाती है. That's it. Court doesn't do anything much more than that. But once the court has given its approval, then basically what happens is everybody falls in the line. Many a times, even the creditors may be involved. Like, you know, kisko paise dene hain, that because, you know, that's also important, right? I may have borrowed money from credit card, this, that, you know, mortgage, vagara, vagara. So it's important that the creditors also have to be settled. And then uske baad mein the estate is free for distribution after paying taxes.
So Mohan ji, I have a question.
Ji.
So agar a part of my inheritance I want to give to a non-profit organization,
Ji.
What is the tax structure for that?
देखो, thank you for the question. पहली बात ये है कि first we have to understand the difference between non-profit organization and charitable organization. A not-for-profit organization, ये तीन लफ्जों में everything is included. So which means they cannot make a profit. They can have income, they can have expenses, but that residual income is carried forward from year to year. But as far as the issuance of charitable donation is concerned, that can only be given, the charitable donation receipt जिसको हम कहते हैं. जैसे हम अक्सर मंदिर मस्जिद गुरुद्वारा जाते हैं, we give donation, तो उसके ऊपर charitable donation receipt मिलती है, which we claim in our taxes. Also donations to hospital for sick kids, Red Cross, बहुत सारी, there are millions of organizations, but make sure that that particular registered charity is an authorized registered charity. How do you make sure that? जैसे हमारे पास SIN number है, 1 2 3 4 9 digit का SIN number है. ऐसे ही those charitable organization will have a 9-digit business number, जिसको कहते हैं charitable registration number. उसके आगे लिखा होगा RR. RR का मतलब है registered charity, 001 002 वगैरह. अगर वो receipt valid है, अगर वो वहाँ पे उन्होंने देखो, if I'm donating $1 or $100 to the charitable organizations, and they will mention it there, and that only receipt is acceptable as a donation in my tax system. Now coming back to the NPO. NPOs, as I said before, they are not the only distinction between NPO and charitable organization. NPOs cannot issue a charitable donation receipt. So if you do give money to the NPO, which is fine, which is anybody's individual decision, and that's the way it should be for the society and the life to continue. बहुत सारे NPOs ऐसे हैं कि they are doing a really excellent work, but you won't be able to get a charitable donation receipt from them so that it can be claimed in the estate taxes.
Thank you so much. Maybe Malton Women Council should look into becoming a charitable.
Yeah, we are in the process of it. इसी तरह कई लोगों ने पूछा है, जैसे कि ट्रस्ट, अगर किसी के नाम का ट्रस्ट शुरू करना होता है, उसका क्या तरीका होता है?
नहीं, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ओके, सो इसको कहते हैं estate freeze. So पहले तो your assets have to be good enough, large enough to do a estate freeze. Estate freeze का ये मतलब होता है कि suppose if the value, first of all, whatever asset you may have, it's revalued. So for example, if I had an asset of 100,000 और उसकी आज की value है 150,000, in that estate freeze, that 150,000 will be regarded as its adjusted cost basis as a fair market value as of today. इसके ऊपर जो valuation अभी होगी, वो 2 million हो सकती है. So that the future generation will pay tax on that, not today's generation. One quick example I'll give you. I know you have a limitation of time. Last year, about 1 year before, I got a client. Mother is about 90 years old. Her both sons, of course adults, One was 71, one was 73, 74, something like that. They have a house in Toronto, and they have a house in, जैसे यहाँ से Ottawa जाते हैं, so somewhere in Haliburton, like, little bit remote place. And the remote place was such that they don't have a postal code, जैसे L5R जो भी postal code हमारा होता है. They have RR, which means it's a rural route, जहाँ वे basic services नहीं होती है. वो जो asset, वो जो घर था, उनका cottage type of घर था, and they used to use that as a retirement sort of vacation home वगैरह वगैरह. They used to go there every weekend, even in winter. Now the situation was such, their father bought this place, and he bought it in 1948. जिस वक्त उसने, जहां तक आग दिखती है ना, like, from here, as long as I can see, the entire plot he bought for $500. Then he only kept 1/10 of that. बाकी जो 9 प्लॉट से उसने किसी को बेच दिए. तो इसका मतलब है इसकी जो प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यू थी सिर्फ $50 थी. अभी इसके ऊपर उन्होंने घर बनाया. So obviously the question was two, and it's a very critical question. एक क्वेश्चन ये था, क्योंकि remember, primary residence is exempt from taxes. So if I considered that to be a primary residence in जहां भी rural Ottawa में है वो, so in that case, the woman is 90 years old. Sooner or later, they're going to sell the Toronto home, which could be $3 million. They would have to pay a significant amount of capital gain on the residing home. So basically what we did, we took the option of considering that one as a investment property kind of thing. A value is 50 thi. So it was a barren land. But I'm not an engineer. तो काफी सारा रिसर्च करने के बाद we identify, okay, they had to build a road, they had to build the sewer pipe, they had to build lots of things to get into a house state. जिस घर में जैसे हम रहते ऐसे हाउस घर में. So उसकी वैल्यू आई $50 से लेके तकरीबन 125 तक आई. फिर the sale value was about 300,000. So whatever was the residual amount, that was distributed in 3, mother and 2 children. And that was their capital gain. Only 50% of that was taxable. So you really have to plan, because if this was not done, this primary resident in Toronto, they would have to pay huge amount of capital gain when the lady passed away. So everything is doable. Everything is possible in terms of, like, planning. अगर हमारे पास documents है, list of documents है, then it's possible. And we can help clients in terms of, putting all those documents together. We through our experience, we know where the problems are and where the problems will be.
अच्छा, हर साल अकाउंटेंट टैक्सेस करते हैं हमें वो पेपर जो है कितने साल तक रखने चाहिए?
7 years. आपकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है टू कीप द बेसिक टैक्स रिटर्न. जैसे अगर आपके पास T4 है, T48, T5 है, इन्वेस्टमेंट इनकम है, T500, जो भी कागज उसके साथ में है, तो आपको 7 years तक उसको साथ रखने हैं. उसके बाद में भी आई विल रिकमेंड यू टू कीप इट, जस्ट उसके स्कैन करके आप अपने पेन ड्राइव या हार्ड ड्राइव में रखें. बिकॉज रिमेंबर, आजकल मेरे पास लोग आते हैं कि सीपीपी का फॉर्म भरना है, तो सीपीपी के लिए वो ओरिजिनल इमिग्रेशन डॉक्यूमेंट दे आर आस्किंग. नाउ हु गेव मी, हु एडमिटेड मी इन दिस कंट्री? गवर्नमेंट. अभी सीपीपी भी गवर्नमेंट के ही है ना, फिर भी they don't look into other departments and say, okay, give me information about Mohan. So Mohan has to provide all the information. So it is better that I recommend that अगर physical आप नहीं रख सकते हो, it might be difficult, तो उसको अच्छे से scan करके just put it into PDF file in pen drive.
Thank you, Mohini Aunty, for asking this question.
Yeah.
जी.
क्योंकि वो तो करके अभी अप्रैल आ रहा है, अप्रैल के महीने तक probably he'll pick up all these papers and make it and put it in an envelope and it's done.
जी
There it is.
जी जी
7 साल रखो.
हाँ जी 7 years. उसमें एक और मैं ऐड करना चाहता हूँ.
आपने मुझे भूल गया, जो विल है उसको कि फिर से रिन्यू कराना पड़ता है.
जी मतलब जैसे मैंने कहा कि अगर कोई चेंज है उसके अंदर, like you know, if
No,
there
we
is a
made the, excuse me, we made the will after my husband passed away.
जी
तो अब उसको वो बनाई थी will after he passed away, तो अब उसको फिर से रिन्यू करवाना है.
ये आप आपकी विल की बात कर रहे हो?
हाँ जी.
हाँ जी. तो आई वुड रिकमेंड यू कि पता नहीं मैंने किस साल किया था, तो आपके लॉयर के पास जाए. 3 years, like 3 years is fine. Just go to him and just talk to him. He'll be happy to review it. या अगर वो आपको कह देगा कि कोई अपडेट करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. बट देखो इसमें एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज है कि जिस वक्त आपने विल किया था उस वक्त आपकी पर्टिकुलर इंटेंशन था, जो भी इंटेंशन आपका होगा. उसके बाद में हो सकता है कि आपका इंटेंशन चेंज हुआ होगा. या उसमें देखो आपने अगर कहा था कि भैया मुझे कोई डोनेशन देनी नहीं है, मैं एक अजम्पशन कर रहा हूँ, और आपने आज डिटरमिन किया कि नहीं मुझे एक पर्टिकुलर संस्था के लिए डोनेशन देनी है, कोई भी रिलीजियस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन.
बट डोनेशन तो जब देते हैं तो वो तो वो आती जाती हैं स्लिप्स दैट अकाउंटेंट डज.
मैं बिल की बात कर रहा हूँ.
अच्छा,
क्योंकि देखिए if there is a good amount of donation at the point of death, the estate will get a benefit of that. हाँ, इसीलिए आपने देखा होगा कि especially very very wealthy and rich people who are talking in millions and millions and millions of dollars, they give substantial donations to the hospitals, cancer research, arthritis research, जो भी research है वो. I used to work for Toronto General Hospital. उस वक्त मेरे पास 400 डॉक्टर्स की लिस्ट थी. 400 doctors I was managing. And we had funds from all over the place in Ontario, in Toronto, all over the place, millions of dollars जो लोगों ने दिए थे to find development in diabetic care. देखो आज जो 100 साल इंसुलिन के हुए 100 साल हो गए. इंसुलिन, if he had not developed insulin, a lot of people would still be in a problem with diabetic, right? तो चलो अच्छा है किसी ने तो डेवलप किया, बट उसके ऊपर भी अभी काफी रिसर्च होना बाकी है. So people can have maybe nobody will ever have a diabetes. So अगर इसके लिए कोई अगर डोनेशन देना चाहता है, so obviously it's a welcome thing, right?
Thank you.
जी.
थैंक यू सो मच मोहन जी. किसी और का क्वेश्चन है कोई?
थैंक यू.
अंशु, आर यू देयर? अंशु का मैं करना चाहूंगी स्पेशल थैंक्स, जिसने इनवाइट किया मोहन जी को.
थैंक यू अंशु जी. थैंक यू जी.
थैंक यू मोहन जी, बहुत ही अमेजिंग आपका प्रेजेंटेशन था. रियली 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 अप्रिशिएट.
मोहन जी का थैंक यू है, उन्होंने टाइम निकाला अपने बिजी स्केड्यूल से.
थैंक यू जी. नो प्रॉब्लम.